Welcome to this Liquidware Professional Services training video. In this session, we are going to migrate to Stratusphere UX version 6.5. This is a migration due to the CentOS upgrade from version 6 to CentOS 8, among other changes. All changes can be found in our product release notes. To assist you in your migration to Stratusphere UX 6.5, there's a migration guide available from our website. The migration guide can be found at liquidware.com under the Documents section on the Support tab. In this video, we are focusing on Scenario 3, migrating a Stratusphere hub and separate database appliance, specifically in a VMware vSphere environment. In order to migrate to the new Stratusphere hub and database, new appliances need to be deployed and data migrated. In order to deploy new Stratusphere appliances, you can either download the appliance virtual disk files or use the OVF URL to import directly. You will also need to know the passwords for the standard accounts SS Console, Friend, and Root. You may consider changing them back to the standard password, SS Password. It's also advisable to ensure DNS is fully working for your Stratusphere environment. The appliances will need temporary IP addresses. Ideally, these would be on the same network. However, this is not a requirement. Network collectors and stations will be redeployed once the migration is complete. Ensure you know the network information and fully qualified domain names for each so you can reuse the network information. Be sure to utilize the Stratusphere UX sizing guide on the Liquidware website to ensure proper CPU, memory, and disk resources are configured prior to initiating your migration. Since we are updating versions of Stratusphere UX to 6.5, consider disabling the option to automatically update the connector ID key software that reports back to the hub and collectors. Disabling this option allows you to roll back and allows for the cached data on all the clients to be processed and gives you the ability to turn on the updates in a controlled fashion. A common question with this migration is, how much downtime should I expect? Well, the answer varies by environment, but here's a good way to figure out your estimated downtime. Find the size of your database under Hub Administration. It'll either be audit size or file system size. It depends on the version of UX you're using currently. And we see average transfer rates around 18 megabytes per second. Your rate may vary based on your infrastructure. Take your database size, multiply it by 1024 if it's expressed in gigabytes to get a total number of megabytes. In this case, I have a 165 gigabyte database. I multiply that by 1024 to get 169,000 megabytes, divide that by the transfer rate of 18 megabytes per second, and I get over 9,000 seconds. Divide that by 3,600 seconds, and you get the number of hours to expect, which in my case is 2.6 hours. Once the migration is started, the effective transfer rate will be shown, and you can adjust your estimates. During this time, systems will cache their data and report all the data back to the new environment once back online. In this environment, I have separate database and hub appliances. I'm downloading the appliances using the direct OVF links available at liquidware.com. I copied and pasted the links from the website and renamed the VM names. Here are some additional considerations to optimize the migration. If possible, utilize the same host to minimize the network traffic during the migration, and utilize different data stores to optimize the I/O reads and writes. In my migration, I don't have any UX network stations or collectors. but if you have these, they need to be shut down prior to the migration. Log into each console with the SS console username and password. Document the network information with the N for network configuration option, and then shut down using the S for shutdown option. Do this for all of your collectors and all your network stations. Once your migration is complete, you will deploy new virtual appliances for your collectors rather than upgrading the existing ones. The base deployment configuration is appropriately sized for this video and my example, but the Stratusphere sizing guide should be utilized to correctly configure the hard drive sizes, CPU, and memory requirements for each appliance. This needs to be completed prior to migrating your data. The Stratusphere UX hub needs to be shut down to stop the transfer of data into the database. Open a console to the hub, log in with the SS console username and password, and select the Shutdown Server option to halt the server. Power on the properly sized database appliance. Open a local console. Follow the prompts to set up the network information for the appliance. When the appliance reboots, log back in, enter M for the Migrate Certs, Settings, and Data from Remote Appliance menu option. Follow the instructions to enter the IP address of the previous Statusphere database. Credentials for friend and the root users will be tested using the default passwords. If these have been changed, the migration wizard will prompt you to enter the friend and root credentials. The network information, data, and certificates are copied to the new database. A running counter is displayed for the data being migrated. This can be utilized to better estimate the time it will take to copy the data. The data transfer counter will stop, but the time will continue to increment as new tables and indexes are generated. Be patient. Once all the information is migrated, the old remote database will shut down. The previously copied network configuration and certificates are applied, and the appliance rebooted. Power on the properly sized hub appliance. Open a local console, log in with SS console and the default password. Follow the prompts to set up the network information for the appliance. The appliance should reboot. Once the appliance is back up, enter M for Migrate Certs, Settings, and Data from Remote Appliance menu option. Follow the instructions to enter the IP address of the previous Statusphere hub. Credentials for friend and root users will be tested using the default passwords. If these have been changed, The migration wizard will prompt you for the friend and root credentials. The network information, data, and certificates are copied to the new hub. Once all the information is migrated, the remote hub will be shut down. The previous copied network configuration and certificates are applied, and the appliance rebooted. After the appliance reboots, please wait at least 15 minutes before using the same DNS name or IP address of the hub to try to access the Stratusphere web UI. Once the login page is available, please verify that it displays 6.5.x in the blue ribbon at the bottom of the web page to confirm the migration to the new version. The login page will also display a message for you to contact licensing at liquidware.com to update the license since the underlying appliance has been changed. This has been a short video on migrating to Stratusphere 6.5 in an on-premises VMware vSphere environment. Most of the details for a single hub, single database environment were shown, but more detail can be found in our migration guide. The migration guide is found on our website, liquidware.com. Click over to the Documents section under the Support tab and check out the Stratusphere UX documentation.